Pinpoint is a brand new pitching interface that first came to MLB The Show 21 in the tech test, and now we are learning how to use it effectively. I wasn't a big fan. If you watch my best competitive settings video, you could tell that I did not want to use Pinpoint for the life of me, and I wanted to stay with something that was familiar, which was pure analog. For this, we're going to head into custom practice. We're going to pick the AL All-Stars. You can pick whichever All-Stars you want or whichever team you want in general as well. Just make sure that they have a bunch of pitchers with different arsenals, because you're going to want to spend at least 5 minutes practicing each and every single tip. Or pitch, not tip, excuse me, on that one. And we're going to go to practice type, and I like selecting team practice just for the simple fact that I like having a hitter there to punish me if I'm making bad pitches, therefore forcing me not only to pitch from the windup, but also forcing me to pitch from the stretch and learning how to pitch from the stretch when there are runners on base, and learning how to adjust from pitching from the stretch in one at bat to pitching from the windup again if we get a double play. Each and every single factor that's going to happen inside a game will happen in team practice, and that's why I like using team practice over anything else. So we're going to start off with the fastball. We're most likely going to tackle each pitch that is thrown a lot in Diamond Dynasty. And the fastball, you just follow what is shown to you previously. So we go up, we go down, or we go down, we go up, and then we wait until that circle at the bottom is closing to the point where you can't see no double lines. And when I say double lines, I mean it's the other lines that are coming into it. So once those lines are intact or in line with the circle, that's when you go ahead and drag your stick down. And each time you drag your stick down, whenever the lines are intact, you don't have to be perfectly inside the circle, but you just need to touch it. And just by touching it, you will get a perfect release because you waited for the perfect time. We'll do the fastball one more time, and then we'll switch to another pitch. As I said previously, Jesus Christ, he went ahead and hit a solo bomb off of me. So he punished me. That's perfectly fine. But that's how you master the fastball. When it shows you yellow or it shows you red, it either means you're going too fast or too slow on a certain section. Whenever you get that feedback, wherever you see the yellow, for example, I'm going to just botch this fastball, right? Wherever you see the yellow, that is where you were going either too fast or too late on, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and do it really slow so you can see this. It's gonna say too slow. So now you know, all right, when I'm going back up, I need to be a little bit faster. So then you're gonna put it together and you're gonna say, all right, that was much better. I did it at the speed they wanted me to, and I threw a perfect release. You're gonna do this for about 5 minutes. I would say practice each and every single pitch. If you do it on team practice, it's going to be even better because runners are going to get on base. And like I said, you're going to pitch from the stretch, you're going to pitch from the windup. But real quick commercial break. If you do end up enjoying today's content, please make sure to hit that like button and red subscribe button. Turn on that notification bell. Click on the channel playlist section. We have a ton of playlists for you to go ahead and watch. Learn how to do showdown, learn how to do conquest effectively in the fastest way possible for each and every single one of those playlists, and even learn about your ball player in general. Community tab, interact with me there. More Bhlademyst section, subscribe to my other YouTube channels. And if you want to become a member of the channel, which is basically a Twitch sub, make sure you click on the channel and press join, or right next to that subscribe button or near my name, there should be a join little tag. Then you can press it and become a member of the channel. Follow me on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube at Bhlademyst, same way it's spelled on the YouTube channel username. Let's go ahead and change now. I'm going to change to the changeup because the changeup is another universally used pitch. Now you might be saying, why is the shaded area so big for you? Well, I have it on legend difficulty in terms of pitching, and on legend difficulty, no matter what the pitch is, unless it's his primary pitch, usually the margin of error, even if you get a perfect release, is a little bit high. So just because you're using Pinpoint doesn't mean that each and every single time it's going to go exactly where you want it. Now I'm hoping to mess up a little bit when it comes to the changeup, so I can go ahead and teach you all how to use it. So the changeup is a little bit different from the fastball. You want to go in one motion down to this area, and then as you're getting to the higher part near the curve, you want to slow down just a tad. You don't want to slow down fully, but you want to slow down just a tad. You don't want to be slamming the stick and going around slamming it as you're getting, or let me try to explain it with my finger here. You go down in one motion like this, where I'm reversed to the camera, unfortunately, but you go down in one motion, you go up to the middle of the curve, and then at the middle of the curve, you just want to slow down your stick just a tad. You slow down your stick just a tad, and it's going to give you a 100% accuracy every single time. There, we were a little bit late to the circle. As I said previously, once you see those two lines basically disappear, you'll be straight. We'll throw one more curveball. If we end up walking him, it's going to take us to the stretch, and that's going to be something fun for you all to see. So that's the changeup. Let's learn the slider a little bit. The slider is just one motion, and just like the changeup, most off-speed pitches, as you curve toward the top, you have to slow it down just a tad. Now, as you can see, I haven't even used this man from the stretch. Shane Bieber, I believe it is, that's pitching. So I'm having a little bit of difficulty when it comes to just throwing it back down with him or putting it back into the circle. Now, as you can see, once again, I rushed it and was basically horrible. I'm doing it a little bit too fast, and I need to slow it down. Pinpoint is not about how fast can you do it. It's about how accurately you can trace and how accurately you can go ahead and place it back at the bottom. We ended up walking him, pitching from the stretch, and like I said, this is still my first time using Shane Bieber, so I'm learning how to throw that slider from the stretch, just like all of you would be learning how to throw the slider from the stretch. I'm still going too fast. I'm learning how to read them. I'm saying, okay, so I keep it in one motion, and then at the top or near the top level, I just need to go slower. So go slower and then bring the stick down. You're gonna have to learn to do it all in one motion there. If I was near the circle at the bottom, it would have 100% been a strike. And then you go back to the windup, and then you find out, oh, in the windup, it's a lot easier for him to actually go ahead and throw the slider, and the speeds of it are much more similar to the changeup. But from the stretch, you have to do it a little bit quicker, and you have to slow it down precisely, basically. We're gonna hop onto the cutter now, pause, and the cutter is one of the easiest ones to do. Literally, I don't really know how you can I don't want to say fail it, because if there's anyone struggling to throw a cutter, I don't want them to be like, damn, he just said I completely suck. But the cutter, it's all in one speed. You just go to the side, and then as you're going to the side, you're going to angle up. And then, as I said previously, you're just going to wait until the circle is closing in. Once that circle is closing in, that's when you bring it down, and you'll be straight every single time. It's really all in one motion. For the cutter, you don't really slow down anything, in my opinion. If it tells you, oh, you're going too fast, then there you might want to slow it down just a tad. But it's all in one motion. It's all in the same speed in terms of moving the stick. Now let's go on to his next pitch, which is the knuckle curve. The knuckle curve, just like the slider, it's gonna go fast in one motion at the bottom. But once you get to the halfway point of the half circle, that's when you have to learn, you have to slow down just a tad. And let me show you what I mean by that. I'm gonna go through the entire circle at one pace, right? So look at that. That's me going at the same pace that I would throw a fastball, that I would throw a changeup, etc. That's me not slowing down. From the beginning, I kept the same pace. No, you have to actually slow down and go, even if it's like, let's say, 0.5 seconds slower, probably much smaller than that. It's probably like 0.1 seconds slower. You have to learn to adjust and do that. Now we're done using Shane Bieber. We had fun using him, but we want a pitcher with a different arsenal. We want a pitcher that has something along the lines of a two-seamer. We have a two-seamer there. We have a splitter here, which I haven't mastered yet, so I still need to practice that. But a two-seamer, it's similar to the cutter. It's basically one motion for the entire thing. And all that you really need to do to excel with it is make sure that you do hit the right points in terms of when you bring it down. You don't want to bring it too high, and you don't want to bring it too low, but it's the same thing. It's one motion, just like the cutter. It's just facing the opposite direction, to be honest with you all. If you got the cutter down, it's really not going to take you long, if any time at all, to master the two-seamer, because it's literally the same pitch, just flipped in terms of how you point the stick. And once again, pay attention to that circle. As soon as that circle is closing in and I don't see the lines, that's when I go ahead and I bring it down. There, I must have been a little bit too early, but that's how we do it. Look at this. Once I see that the lines are disappearing, that the lines are becoming one. Once you see, look, this is the circle originally. Once you see that the bigger circle that is closing in on it, once you see the lines go in line with it, that's when you bring the analog stick down each and every single time, and you'll be straight each and every single time. Once again, Make sure you're doing team practice so there can be runners on base and you can practice throwing from the stretch as well. We're going to go to one more pitcher, or maybe a couple more. I want to show you guys the sinker, and I definitely want to show you guys the splitter, because the sinker is one of the pitches that are most used in MLB The Show, and the splitter definitely is another one. I'm trying to see if there is anyone that throws both of them inside the same arsenal, and unfortunately there isn't. So we're gonna have to go for the splitter and sinker to Kenta Maeda. I mean, he had both of them in the arsenal. I don't know what I was talking about. Now, the sinker is just like an off-speed pitch. You go in one motion at the bottom, and it's like each and every single pitch, when it comes to going back to the top, once you hit the half circle, you have to slow it down a little bit. The only time you don't slow it down a little bit is whenever you're throwing a cutter and a two-seamer. But then when it goes to coming to the top, almost each and every single pitch, you just have to slow it down a tad. Once you start doing that, I promise you, once you start slowing down just a little bit, and even if you're going too fast towards the bottom, once you start slowing that down a little bit and then slowing it down even a little bit more, there I did it way too slow. So clearly that lets me know, all right, wherever it was green, that means you were doing it at the correct speed. Wherever it's yellow, that means you're either doing it too slow or too fast. So there you have to adjust. And looking at where it's yellow, usually that distracts me from wanting to place it into the circle. But even then, you have to focus and you need to still place it in the circle, because placing it in the circle is gonna give you the most accurate pitch without needing the other attributes, basically, or not attributes, but the other factors. So whenever we get to the stretch, yes, it's a little bit more difficult to actually pitch. So that's why you see me go, well, it's a lot more difficult to pitch with pitchers that you don't know. For example, I've never pitched with Kenta Maeda, so clearly it's going to be a lot more difficult for me to throw the sinker with him from the stretch if I don't get used to his delivery. But this is a great way to go ahead and try out a new pitcher that you just got in Diamond Dynasty and just basically excel with him. And then boom, eventually you're going to start learning, okay, at which pace am I supposed to go, and then at which pace am I supposed to go down. I just threw him 2 straight sinkers. Perfect, perfect. I'm going to continue throwing the sinkers. Perfect, perfect. Once you get the hang of this, I promise you it gets a whole lot easier for you to do it with each and every single pitcher, regardless of their pitch type, regardless of how long their windup takes, all of that. It gets a lot easier. Trust me on that. Look at this. I'm just dotting with them. If we want to throw a quick pitch, that probably is the most difficult thing to do, but it follows the same process. You don't want to go too fast. You don't want to go too slow. You want to make sure that at the end of the day, you're going back when the circle is disappearing and you're timing it as well as you can. That was me quick pitching. Now to the most difficult pitch to throw out of everything, which is a splitter. The splitter, just like every half circle, it's in one motion until you reach the half. Once you reach the half, you slow down, and then you have to like jump back up to the middle and then drop down. Watch this. I didn't even get a chance to jump back down. So clearly the splitter is a pitch that I'm going to have to practice a lot more. But as you can see, the accuracy there wasn't bad. The only thing that was bad, look at that, we just got a perfect splitter. The only thing that was bad was I'm not dropping the PCI like back to where it's supposed to belong. There we give up a base hit. So if you were in a real game, you're knowing, hey, I'm missing my spots, I'm giving up runs, and it allows you to just be in a game atmosphere, which I believe that everybody should try to do. And look at that, I got 100% accuracy there, and I didn't follow it completely. So you don't always have to follow it 100% completely. I'm trying my best to time that circle and also follow the pitch in general. It's not going to be easy. It's going to take some time, but you're going to get used to it. Look at the slider. This is another pitch that I don't know if I actually showed you all, but it's pretty easy to master. It's all in one motion until the middle. Once you get to the middle, it just starts slowing down once again. And from the stretch, once you got his stretch down and once you know when the circle is closing, it's going to become a lot easier. We're going to throw a splitter for strike 3 here, and we're going to excel with it. Well, I lied. We aren't going to excel with it, but we're going to go ahead, pitch to one more batter, and then call it for the pitching tips video. Hopefully this helps a ton of you guys out. This was basically what I did. Like, I just sat down and really said to myself, hey, if I want to become a competitive player this year, I need to learn how to pitch with this pitching method, and I need to find out what can help me best. And everything I've told you, everything I've taught you is what helped me best. So I hope it works for you, and I hope you're able to master pinpoint pitching as well, because it will literally take your game to the next level. If you did end up enjoying today's content, make sure to hit that like button, red subscribe button. Don't forget to follow me on all social medias, community tab, playlist, more Bhlademyst, become a member, join, and have a blessed day and night. Stay positive, stay safe, stay blessed, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace out.